Hello and welcome to Did I Do That? It's a podcast about graphic designers making mistakes because when it comes to making just about anything, it's all part of the process. And we are still on break, but happy everybody. 2026. This is the first one of these intros actually recorded in 2026. I realized that the other one was published January 1st, but I think it matters more that I'm actually in this year now and not recovering from a terrible illness. So yeah, it is really wonderful to be sharing with you another of my favorite episodes from back in the day. This is a really wonderful episode with the great Kristin Rogers Brown over at Our Hated Rivals, PNCA. If you've heard me say that on a recent episode and wonder where that comes from, this is the episode where that comes from. So... yeah. I wanted to give you a little calendar update because we are coming into, as of this, the back half of our inter-season break, gearing up for a powerful, gigantic season 8. Truly a number of episodes that frightens me when I look at it. But our very last episode is going to be the next one of this break. February 12th, we are actually going to be kind of kicking off Season 8 with a Season 8 trailer. And then the week after that, we are going to be premiering the episode that I'm actually about to record in the studio right now. And that is premiering February 19th, Thursday, February 19th. So please mark your calendars. And also, please enjoy this really wonderful episode with the great Kristin Rogers Brown. All right, enjoy.
I think that what I didn't understand again is if those two things had a baby, they would probably be design.
Hello and welcome to Did I Do That? It's a podcast about making graphic design and making mistakes because it's all part of the process. I'm Sean Schumacher, and joining me today, a very special guest. She's an award-winning editorial art director who for the past decade has used those skills to design meaningful experiences, publications, and brand strategies across media, including serving as art director of Bitch Magazine and as creative director of Bear Deluxe Magazine. These days, she heads up the graphic design program at our hated crosstown rivals, the Pacific Northwest College of Art, where she also leads the client work-oriented design studio student incubator. I said all those words in the wrong order, but we'll figure it out. The PNCA Center for Design. It's Kristin Rogers Brown. Hi.
Hi. I love we set up this adversarial relationship and we're here like cracking up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hugely adversarial relationship. And
Yeah.
I think I wanted to bring that up because I was thinking today about, I went to a high school that was fairly new. It was built out of cinder block and it looked like a prison. And it was just a wonderful, great place to go to high school. But they still wanted it to have high school things.
Like sparkles?
Well...
That's what I thought you were going to say about Vegas.
There certainly weren't sparkles there. No, it was kind of the opposite of sparkles. It was gray, rough cinder block.
Yeah.
But we did have, I think they determined that the one thing that a real high school needed was a hated crosstown rival.
Oh, yeah.
So they sort of, they got a hat and they put a bunch of names of different schools into the hat. And they picked out a different school. And nobody had any feelings about this particular school at our school. But, you know, that was just the thing.
Yeah, of course.
Did you have an experience like that? Did your high school have like a hated crosstown rival?
You know, I think my college did more than maybe my high school did. But let's be real. Like, I'm a designer. My sportiness is relative. I grew up outside of Chicago, so I'm a lover of sports. I think it's like required for you to be.
Sportstown, USA.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. But in college, we were like a Division III liberal arts school, also about the same level of sportiness that I could maintain. And our hated crosstown rival was another, like, small school in the middle of Ohio.
Like liberal arts school that, you know, maybe has a really engaging creative writing program. But
that's where I went. Oh. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the school I went to. So it did feel a little bit like it was drawn out of the hat. It was more like intellectual snobbery, I think, between the two schools than sports snobbery.
I see.
But both hated the other.
Yeah, but you're at least familiar with the Sportstown USA way of thinking. And of course, you know, the other part of this is mascots. I think there's a real case of mascot mania in the air right now. We just got done celebrating Grimace's birthday, for one. Did you do anything for Grimace's birthday?
No, when was Grimace's birthday? Because maybe I did.
I think July, maybe?
No, I didn't. I did nothing in July. I might have grimaced.
Well, he wants that, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's weird that we have a very happy mascot that's named after a pained facial expression.
I know. I like that a lot. And he's just kind
bizarre.
of a blob, too.
He's very blobby.
It's very strange.
It feels like, like they had 3 minutes to come up with a mascot. And it's like, purple crayon. There we go. Sort of a star shape.
So
Great.
wait, what is the mascot at PSU? I should know this.
We are the Vikings.
That was my high school mascot.
Really? It's a very common mascot. Many of the schools that have the Vikings do start with V, which we no longer do.
Right.
We did for about 10 years, and that was a long time ago. So maybe it's time to retire that one.
Yeah. It's definitely not time to retire our mascot. We've had several uprisings against it, mostly started by the administration. Ours is the sloth.
I didn't know this.
It's like the most magical idea for an art school mascot.
Absolutely. This takes the crown from, I think, the banana slugs of UC Santa Cruz.
I think Santa Cruz has sport teams.
They do. They do have real sports. But
yeah, we have mostly tabling at cons. So I think the sloths is kind of perfect.
Oh, my God.
But we do have an actual costume that people dress up in. And,
there are people who dress up as a sloth?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was told this year that I could do it if I wanted to. And then I thought about the number of people who have been inside that costume. I started to feel different.
That's going to be Stinktown, USA inside of that.
Maybe.
Is unfortunate.
Or cozy. Who knows?
I mean, it might be just like a warm blanket in a weird way. A warm, stinky blanket. But yeah, so Grimace is kind of taking over, I think, in a lot of ways from Ronald McDonald, just in time for Gen Z to embrace clowns. A weird choice. But I think thinking about Grimace's shapelessness, I was having a conversation with my parents the other night. And they live in Las Vegas still. And they had seen a commercial that included a terrifying mascot that they were telling me about. And I want to actually share this mascot with you because it might in fact be the worst mascot I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm excited.
Let me introduce you to this friend. This is Stephen Money. Please say hello to Stephen Money.
So for the listener, I'm going to describe... This is a cartoon Arnold Schwarzenegger bod, but with a head and torso of a cell phone that says STN Sports on it.
Yes, I there's another image that I think.
Also, if the mascot has to say what they are in the quote, then that is a sign that it's not working. It's literally saying, I am Stephen Money.
I am Stephen Money. Mm-hmm. It is me, Stephen Money.
Wow.
Yeah.
It kind of just tells you what to do, though, it looks like, from what I'm seeing here.
Stephen Money, I think, wears his heart on his sleeve. And by heart, I mean desire for you to give him money.
Yeah.
Stephen Money is...
He can't help himself, maybe.
I think I need to read the official bio of Stephen Money provided by STN Sports. Stephen Money, no relation to Eddie Money, that's actually in there, is your best bet and soon to be your new best friend in the sports betting game as he brings you the STN Sports app to the palm of your hands. That sentence doesn't feel like it's well constructed, but okay. Wagin' and ragin' for over 40 years. Nope. Stephen Money has, against the odds, proved himself to be the local favorite in Nevada. He's proud of his roots as a Vegas local, born and raised, bringing bettors the best race and sports betting experience in the game. He always takes over on Vegas, even when most took the under. He always takes the over on Vegas, even when most took the under. Boo.
There's so many words, and they're confusing me with what they mean.
Well,
I've never heard them in that order.
No, it's bad. It's bad because it's weird sports betting speak, which is nonsense.
Yeah.
And they close it out with the line, "He's so money, and he definitely knows it."
Wow.
He's.
Do people still know what Eddie Money is?
Well, that's a great question.
I mean, who?
Because I as a child, I bowled next to Eddie Money. We went to a bowling alley in Vegas, and there's Eddie Money right there.
So
and
he's a local.
He's a local.
Okay, that makes more sense.
But we didn't know who he was. It was definitely our parents who did. So
also, he's bowling.
He is bowling.
In public.
So, during the day, in the middle of famous. Kind of local casino.
Yeah,
so,
good for him.
And it wasn't being bothered either.
Yeah.
Stephen Money is a nightmare, and I don't know how the mascot game can continue from there. I think we might have to just hang it up because I don't know that we'll ever have anything more terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. Although I don't know if you're a Blazer fan. Did you see the Sasquatch mascot this last year?
No. Do they have a Sasquatch mascot?
They're introducing double mascot time at some of the games. So there's Blaze, which if you're not a Blazer fan, I feel like people have sort of a love-hate, sometimes hate relationship. Maybe it's just the fact that people want to beat up mascots, I feel like.
They absolutely do.
That could just be it.
And some of it, I'm sure, is just thinking about how soft the mascot will be against their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the way they bobble their heads around. It's just too much.
Yes. Or their insulting
distracting.
dances.
They are insulting.
They're always trying to get into mischief.
I know. They really are. It just had sort of an uncanny valley face thing going on. You should Google it if you...
absolutely.
Listeners, Google it. I don't really know how to describe it other than I'm not very sure about it at all.
I did get search results for Trailblazers Square Dance, which I am going to follow up on for sure. A Bigfoot with a beanie. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that face is... There's a lot of things.
Oh, boy. Why does it... It does that thing that 19th century dolls do, where they have the hard face.
Yeah.
The hard ceramic face. And I don't know why... I mean, this is a gentleman who is grimacing.
Absolutely.
Grimacing in absolute pain existing.
I'm still threatening
at
the same time.
He's giving a smile, but he is going to take a bite out of you the minute you turn your back.
Yeah. I'm not here for it.
Yeah. So truly some nightmarish things going on the mascot front.
Things happen.
And I'm glad we could have this moment of mascottery to kind of warm ourselves up. So Kristin,
transition.
My always great transitions out of the bit. That's the thing, is people listen to this show and they go, Sean, your transitions are what I really listen for. You're gentle transition. You grew up in Sportstown, USA, as you mentioned, Chicago. Mm-hmm. What was it like growing up in Chicago? How did you get into design from there?
So I grew up in the suburbs on the southern side of the city, a little bit close to Indiana. But my parents were both music teachers and creative people. So when I was a little kid and we had a break, I would ride the train downtown with my mom to where she would teach. And when I was old enough, and this was the 70s, 80s, so old enough was sooner than it would have been. She would let me go across the street to the Art Institute, and I would just kind of hang out there. So I think that that always felt like a space that I could access and be myself, even though it was a leap, to be away from home and kind of adventure when I was 12.
Yeah. And I could see, as probably a creative kid, when your parents are both in music, probably getting into art feels a little bit more oh yeah, I'm gonna rebel a little bit too.
Yes, absolutely. I think music was something that was always sort of assumed that we would be a part of, but they never expected us to do it. And so art felt like something that was and I think it was maybe the only thing that most of my family wasn't that good at.
Oh, really?
My grandma was a really great artist. And I think maybe they were better than they say they are. When I look back, little sketches and stuff were always cool that we did. But yeah, it felt like mine. Yeah. A little bit more. So that was nice. But I didn't really, despite all the signs, I didn't know that I wanted to be a designer until I started trying to do it.
Really? So, like, had you... I mean, I assume you maybe hadn't had a notion of what a designer even was.
I think I did, but I kind of rejected it for the sake of wanting to do art and clothes. So I think there were definitely warning signs. Like, my parents saved some of the projects I did as a kid, and one of the things that they saved was a book of poetry that we did when we were like in first grade. Cute little first grade poems.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently I rewrote the table of contents using different styles of handwriting. Like, I'm not kidding. There were like 15 pages of the table of contents.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that could maybe not have been more predictive of what I would be doing.
I would say that is the number one indicating sign that you are going to do some layout stuff in your life. If you are thinking about different styles of handwriting at all ever.
Yeah. And first grade, when you like, what is your handwriting? So I have that in my past. And then in sixth grade, I had an amazing teacher who had us for like one whole quarter. All of our projects were wrapped up in creating a newspaper.
Wow.
We each created our own newspaper, and we had to do all the sections. We had to name it. We had to make the ads. But it was all done with like cut and paste. And drawing. And it's funny because my parents saved mine, and I had all kinds of things in it. Like I had, it was supposed to be 20 years in the future. So I had the first woman president was elected in, I don't know, I think it was like 2016 or something like that.
So close.
And the Cubs won the World Series, which they actually did in 2016.
Did you... Can we get into this future?
Yeah,
we're really close to it.
Some of it was good. But I had like cut out the captions from the comics and like rewrote the captions rather than drawing the comics. So I thought I wanted to be a writer. But yeah, I wrote all these stories and like designed it and like made different fonts for the different things just by lettering them differently.
Wow.
So it's not good looking.
Well, but it's still really ambitious,
cool.
though.
Yeah.
Like, did you get multiple copies of the newspaper? Like,
no, we had one that we made and turned in.
It's just the pay stuff.
It's just one.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a pretty cool project. But he managed to wrap like math and history and creative writing and like all of these things into this one project, and that was our whole project for the quarter.
That's a good teacher.
I'm super grateful for that experience. I did not know that I wanted to do magazine design somehow until I was almost 30.
Yeah, because I mean, I as I mentioned before, I was on LinkedIn before this, and I was noticing your degree is actually in fine art and writing.
Yeah, I went there falling in love with the campus, for one. It was beautiful, like big trees, kind of like the park blocks, really.
Oh.
There's a guy who I went to school with who made a movie called Liberal Arts, and Kenyon was the school that was in the movie.
Essentially the quintessential liberal arts school then.
Yeah, I mean, that's like really what it was. It was beautiful. So I kind of fell in love with it for that, but I thought that I wanted to do writing creatively. And it has a wonderful like poetry journal or creative writing journal, and there have been a lot of like famous writers who have gone there. There have also been cool people in visual communication and comics, and Bill Watterson, who did Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
He went there.
Oh my God.
And I think that was something that also seemed really cool to me. Like I knew that there was an interesting like art adjacent thing and humor too.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I ever really thought I was super funny, but like I enjoy that side of things, and I enjoy like the self-effacing. Calvin and Hobbes is like not only funny too; it's kind of like a heart tugger.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of thing. So I went there for really for creative writing. I studied English Lit, and then was one of two people who petitioned to have the school let us write poetry for our thesis project. And
wow.
So I wrote like 25 pages of poetry for my like senior thesis, and then had to do a fine art exhibit. I think that what I didn't understand again is if those two things had a baby, they would probably be design. It's like literally inventing the definition of communication design.
If only there was some way we could combine the visual and this like bookmaking thing.
Communicating. I mean, I went as far as I studied books and printing, like history of books and printing for my art history class. And
wow.
I mean, I should have known. So when I graduated, I moved to a completely different part of the country, Denver, because I had a friend who said I could stay on her floor. And
it's also moving up to the big city too.
Right. That felt good.
Yeah.
And she had another roommate who was a graphic designer, Jen, who was doing freelance work and would kind of show me what she was doing. And I really liked the type. Like, I liked the idea of setting type. I ended up later, when I moved to Portland, like taking a letterpress class at the IPRC out here.
Yeah.
And like really then it started to click, like what the things I had been doing, like what they meant, like all of the things in Illustrator where you're, adjusting, kerning and letting and that kind of stuff. So I think it was the mix of like doing some printmaking, which I did in my undergraduate as well, with just loving communication.
Yeah.
And I think I realized that if I was going to work in a writing adjacent field, it would be editing somebody else's words. But if I was going to work in an art adjacent field, it would be design, and I could be like a megaphone for somebody else's ideas.
Yeah.
Which sounds really fun to me. It still is fun to me.
It is. Like, I mean, that's like an incredible thing about, especially working in editorial, like you are getting to like broadcast out ideas and experiment on how those things are framed on a weekly or monthly basis. Like,
Right. And make things that work.
Yeah.
Like, I've always enjoyed that. I took my high school, actually, I took drafting classes and architectural drawing classes.
Wow.
Instead of math. It was a huge school. It was a huge high school. And actually, that's another thing I should probably have thought would mean I should go into design.
Yeah, there's a million little roads that are going.
Now that I am a designer,
way.
It's like it makes a ton of sense. At the time, it seemed like I liked everything and couldn't decide what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes paths kind of converge, and like I think it wasn't until later that it really made sense to me. Like I was probably in my early 30s when it started making sense, honestly. So
you're in Denver now.
Yep.
And like what sort of like is the big push to get into kind of the publishing world from there?
I had been doing design for like little startups. The first like job I took in design was at a travel agency, like making their like silly little newspaper ads, and it was just really, really boring. I missed books.
Yeah.
There was a program in town, like a publishing specific program, kind of like the one that PSU does.
Yes, Hooligan Press is ours.
Yep. It's called the Denver Publishing Institute, and it was started by some folks from New York and Boston who would come out to Denver area in the summers and just loved it and like wanted to start a hub to like help educate people to go back into that industry just because it was beautiful and they liked it there. So, which I think is an awesome reason to start something.
An excellent reason.
So it was like a summer-long, intensive, like master's level program that we learned about. We did workshops in editing and production and advertising, marketing.
Just like everything.
Everything around books specifically.
Wow.
And then the idea was that it was a good feeder for jobs because so many people would go there during the summers and teach who like actually had practical experience in the field, which is a lot like what you and I are trying to do in these programs here. It's like I think a lot of the teachers that students have in Portland are doing 9 things. They're teaching, they're working at a firm, they're starting their own zine or comic series or whatever.
Yeah.
So it felt like those kind of people. And I just, when I was there, I kind of told myself as I was finishing, like, that I should remember what that felt like to work with people who were so smart and so like on the same level all the time. And whatever I was doing, it should take me closer to that.
Yeah.
So from there, I did, in fact, get a job at a book publisher. And I was more excited about production than I was about editing, and that surprised me.
It was at that moment that you're like, oh, this is actually the thing.
Totally. And I liked it because production, like I didn't feel like I was good enough yet as a designer to be like designing books, but production was like the way that you make everything work.
Yeah.
And so the publisher that I ended up working with was Perseus Publishing and Da Capo Press. Now it's like a pretty big publisher. It was like medium sized to medium big when I worked there. But I was basically a production manager, and so I was the one in charge of getting all the books printed in the best way possible.
But that's a huge job.
Huge.
Like,
huge.
I think folks who are new to design may not realize it's hard.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
The interesting thing, I think, the thing that I really ended up loving about it was our art directors for this imprint were fantastic. And they like won awards for their books. And I didn't feel like I could play in that world yet. But I did know like they were making choices that I knew how they would print.
Yeah.
And that was partly because of my printmaking background. And it was partly because of my interest in them and listening to them as people. And partly my interest in people in general and kind of like translating with the printer. And like at the time, I think publishing may still be this way. But at the time, I mean, print technology has changed a bit, but books were running on Heidelberg presses, like these big printing presses, like same way that they had been for years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean, some of those Heidelbergs are like from the 1800s.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I mean, a lot are from the 40s even, too.
Well, and they're still kind of maintained and they work the same way.
Yeah.
So the people who work in the shops often have been working in the shops since the 1840s. But that would be they'd be like medical miracles. But
I mean, sometimes you talk to a pre-press person and it feels like they have the weariness that they have been working in that job.
So there's some weariness. There's like some bossiness sometimes. I think at the time it felt like I looked really young for my age, and I was pretty young for that job. And so I think I got talked down to a lot. But to be able, I had a great mentor there who was also just a few years older than me and had been doing it since she was 18.
Wow.
So she came from the manufacturing side, and I came from like more the art and like the practice side. And so the two of us working together, it was really nice. And I learned a lot about how to talk to people that don't want to respect you, like during that time, and made friends. And you kind of use comedy and you use your like Midwestern generosity or whatever, and your own like self-effacing sense of humor to like get people to not hate you, and then you become a really great translator for the design side of things.
Wow.
So that part was actually really fun.
That's such an interesting place to come into this field from, like, and to be able to see practitioners of our field, I'm guessing, are some of the people who are not very nice to you sometimes.
Maybe. I mean, everybody who I got to work with was great.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like snobbery on all sides of that position where I was in the middle. You know, when you're a person in the middle, you often have to absorb things from all sides to like protect the other people and protect the work.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure that it gets done well. So I learned how to stand up for myself. I learned how to like ask questions. I think doing that job, I definitely learned that you can always ask questions. Like even if you think you know what's happening, like, and you're on a press check, just ask a question. Like start with a question. I still learn something every time I go on press.
Yeah.
And then you're not an asshole, too.
That's very important.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the goal. It's like, don't be a jerk always.
Yeah. Number one.
And like, try to learn something all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that made me feel like excited about design. I will say I did get bored of like ordering books over and over. I think I did the 2 years I was there. I think I did like 250 like reprinted titles and
Holy
like
shit.
80 new books like every year. And
wow. I mean, I guess that's a job that's going to keep you very busy, but that's a lot.
Yeah, and that's why they need, that's why the designer is not the one ordering the printing. And that's why the production person isn't necessarily, devising the plan to get them into marketing.
Yeah.
There's a bigger team, which was great. Everybody was, as I thought, pretty funny and smart and cool. But yeah, it was a lot. And I met a person who I fell for and wanted to move. He wanted to move to Portland, and I was tired of my job, and we decided that we were going to try it. So I moved out here for a boy, and then just started telling everyone that I was a designer because I had done enough of it.
But that's enough, though, too.
It was a lot of practical experience, actually.
This is not. I think sometimes people think of design as being a very gate-kept field, and you don't necessarily have to have a design degree to go and do this.
I would say it can
plenty of people do.
A very gate-kept field.
It can be.
But I was super lucky. I feel like I was also super humble, and I took an internship with the Willamette Week when I moved out here, and I was had already been a production manager.
Yeah. So that timeline's got to be kind of actually good for you. You'll know how to work fast in a very fast-paced environment.
Definitely. And I think that appealed to the procrastinator side of me too. You can't help it's going to get put off to the last minute in those environments. So what I did, it definitely I'm good at making things happen.
Yeah.
Making it work at the last minute. So, but I was told, and I don't know if you were told this too, that there were you could go into production, and that would be sort of you would be more of a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
Or you could go the creative direction.
I was actually just having this conversation with a recent grad the other day, and I think he was unfortunately under the impression that if you did choose the production side, that you would be stuck there, and that would be your only route forward.
Yeah, I'm so curious. I mean, do you see that happening with students that you've taught? I don't know if I broke out of it or if it was just it's actually more fluid than we think.
I think it's a lot more fluid than we think.
I think so too.
I think too, it is really easy to, especially when you're starting out, feel like you have to be in a box, and your first job is going to be your last job, even if that's not going to be true.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, especially in this climate, it makes the most sense to just go where you're going to get some skills and move forward. And you got some great skills from that role.
Yeah. And I think being an intern, I actually ended up with that internship because I picked up the Bear Deluxe, which was, a free art magazine, art and environment magazine that was laying around Portland.
A really gorgeous magazine.
It was beautiful even before I got there. And and so I thought that they were pretty big with my background.
Yeah.
And emailed them and was I'd love to see what you do, thinking this is me contacting the cool kids in town or whatever. And they were kind of cool, but but I went to meet up with the publisher, and it was in one of those, almost like a welding, studio kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
really gritty and industrial, but
deep
also
Northwest.
Cool. Yeah.
And the people next to us, one of them was a welder, and the other guy on the other side was a painter who's super good. But when I met with them, I was oh, this is like a zine. This is a, it's all volunteer. It's all of this stuff. And I started working with them and learned actually a lot of my skills because I was working with a guy, a friend of mine, Thomas, who actually was working at Willamette Week. And he suggested that I come over there and just be an intern and see what happened. So I think when I was doing the internship, I was also temping for money.
Yeah.
And I completely let go of my pride when I moved to Portland and was I mean, I don't know if I really was ever very prideful, but I was like, I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to make money however I can. And I'm going to try to do things like you said, where you're learning something.
Yeah. And I mean, that was really valuable because it kind of, I mean, it in a lot of ways informed the next decade of your career.
Totally. Well, at the time, so before I went to Bitch, through temping, actually, I landed at a consulting firm that was doing some really interesting, leadership development training with Fortune 100 companies. And actually, that sounds really boring when I say it. But having come from a background of teachers and teaching and wanting to just learn things, it actually was really interesting. They used a lot of the Myers-Briggs and psychological testing to profile teams, and
which would have been pretty new stuff too at that time.
It was. Yeah. This was 2002 ish. And to have executives go through that kind of self-analysis is super vulnerable. A lot of people didn't want to do it.
Well, every executive watched American Psycho and then turned it off and said, "Oh no, how did they get this biography of me?"
Exactly. Yeah. But there I knew the editing side. I knew the kind of translation piece of how to talk between audiences, and they were building a creative team. And so there they hired me to be a senior designer while I was also interning at Willamette Week.
Wow.
So I feel when I was at Willamette Week, I made tons of mistakes. I didn't know how to do things and would ask about it. I was not fast.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
Because they are a weekly.
I know.
It's in the name.
I did fine, at the things I did, but looking back, I don't know how they look back on me. But I did that job for a year, and I'm still in touch with a lot of people that I worked with there. But so I guess I didn't do that bad. But in the day job where I was working at the consulting firm, I didn't fuck up as much because I had this whole other place that I could learn. And it ended up being just a really interesting place to push the design vision. I had a great creative director the first little bit that we were there who had also studied poetry. And
that's wild.
Yeah, very wild. And had worked for Nike and other companies, and had done some writing, but also, was a really good designer. So we kind of set this graphic design direction that was a little more reflective and thoughtful and not just corporate-y, a world party of people of different ethnicities sitting around the table shaking hands. Just the worst.
The handshake aesthetic
oh my God.
Of corporatism in the 2000s.
Imagery, yeah. And we're able to make something really cool,
Yeah.
So that I stayed at for 8 or 10 years. And during that time, we got bought by a bigger company and a bigger company. And then I had a global team eventually that I was running.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And I became an art creative director. I was a good designer, but I was a great art director.
Yeah.
There are people who just are made for certain roles. And that sounds that's hard for me to say on a mic.
But it's really true, though, because it's different skill sets and being able to manage people, especially, which is really
that's true.
Key to that role.
That's true.
That is not a talent that a lot of people have. And being able to talk about what it is that you want to do and have other people execute it and understand it, that's hard.
I think there's a skill that I have too, which I try to share with my students, because you can practice this at any level of design, just how to help people think that your idea is their idea.
It's so true, though.
It's something I strive for, and it's how you manage up, as they say, I think. It's also if you're introverted and you don't like to be in the spotlight all the time, it's a great way to not be.
Yeah.
And it's genuine. If it can be genuine too, I can be manipulative, but I'm not an asshole like that. I want people to feel good about things that they're doing, So I think it's a really good way to make your colleagues feel good about what they're doing and your clients feel good about the work you did together.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I learned really that skill, that and bartending. Which I did for a long time.
I both very, very people oriented, very much about like trying to convince people to be happy with their decisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And trying to make you do what you need them to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But let it be their own. Yeah.
Oh my God. So you now have a global team. You went from intern at Willamette Week to a person with a global team in-house at a firm. Like,
yeah, it was pretty fast, but it felt like forever.
Yeah.
I think it was like
when you're in it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably like 5 or 6 years that it took to like do that, but
that's so fast. It's
so fast. Like one of the cool things about working with folks outside of Portland, the firm that we ended up being a part of also has other companies and headquartered in New York. They're the Mercer Lippincott is like a branding agency that has been around since, I don't know, maybe 100 years now.
Since the big
60s,
name.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I got to work with some of their art directors on a global rebrand of the company, and there was only like 4 or 5 of us. And I just realized like how young I was, like in my early 30s.
Oh.
And like here, sometimes it feels like, I don't know. I have students who come back to school for design and they're like in their early 30s sometimes, and they're like, am I going to feel so old? Like, I feel so old at school. I feel like I'm getting started so late. And it's not.
But it really isn't. Same thing here. Like, when I started teaching, I was 26, maybe. And I was very nervous about telling anyone my age, which I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, almost all my students were older than me.
Right.
And, like, you know, there is that thing of, like, am I, like, I as the teacher am, like, the one that, like, has to like do my best to feel like I'm the teacher in this room.
Yeah.
But like I do think back on that and like, oh yeah, probably they were all really nervous too, like going back to school and feeling like, you know, am I getting into this too late? And
yeah.
They weren't. Like,
yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some advice as I was like thinking about switching to design. Somebody told me that this was like early 2000s, so maybe it's more than this now, but people change career trajectories like 5 times in their life.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
And like, that seems like a lot. and it's not.
It's not,
like,
though.
It's not. You really can change, and so much of what we do is virtual now, and if you are always learning, then you're always going to have fresh ideas.
You have to. Like, it's so easy. I think you think back on like the 50s world of like you have a job and you are in it for 40 years and you clock in and you clock out every day, and that's never how creative work has been.
No.
But like also if you are not getting new ideas and new environments and new like problems to solve, like you stop being creative.
Right.
And that is poisonous. So like you kind of have to do that, like shifting and changing all the time.
Right.
Like,
and you're not going to get all of it from your day job.
No.
Like, or maybe
not.
most of it. I mean,
yeah, if you're putting all of that on your day job, that's a real recipe for burnout.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I've always done, I guess I've almost always had 2 jobs. And that came partly from necessity.
Yeah.
But also because I'm distractible. But yeah, when I was at the consulting firm, I was working on the Bear Deluxe, like in my free time. And it was like, here's this like countercultural, like environmental art magazine. And then I'm working at this global company.
Yeah.
And like, what does that feel like? And I struggled with that actually a lot. And I think that's what ultimately made me leave. I had been looking for a bit. And when I saw the job at Bitch come open, I felt like I was working in the air so much, like trying to connect with offices in the UK and Singapore, and you're up early in the morning to connect with one office and late at night to connect with the other. And then the middle of the day, you feel like you have to be on it. Here.
That's kind of worst case scenario for that.
Yeah, it's growing pains of a company too, where you haven't quite settled into like how that works yet.
Ooh.
But I wasn't designing as much as I wanted to, and when I saw the job with Bitch come open, I think we had interviewed Andy, the co-founder of the magazine, for The Bear.
Wild!
A few years before, and I was like, well. Breyer Levitt was the art director then. I was like, that's a job that she will never leave.
Yeah.
And like, there aren't that many jobs like that in town. And I was like,
And then we stole her away.
I know. So good for me. But I was like, that's one job that would be like, the writing's amazing. There's sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's pop culture, but it's hard on pop culture. And the design's beautiful. So it felt like it was like the job that I needed to get. So, and it was exciting because as much of my work is publications, I really am more a designer who likes the form to follow the function. That goes back to those architecture classes. It's like you have to make a thing that works, you know. So
this is connecting all the dots. Like
it really did. It was like my dream job, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing that, it's a nonprofit and an independent publisher, and I need a little income to supplement.
Yeah. A good thing to remember,
right?
Folks who are thinking about going into nonprofit life, have some side hustles ready.
But since I had been wanting to do, you know, I like balancing multiple things. I got the opportunity to teach an illustration class at PNCA, and just kind of fell in love with that too.
Yeah.
But they complemented each other. I had worked with photographers and I had worked with a lot of different designers, but I hadn't had the opportunity to work with a lot of illustrators who were really just freelance illustrators. And so to be able to go and teach those folks, I really learned a lot that helped me at Bitch. And I kind of made that part of my thing at Bitch, was trying to advocate for better pay and better use of illustration, which Breyer had done a great job carving out. But while I was there, I was able to like quadruple our rates.
That's great. Yeah.
Still low, but
illustration is a very challenging path.
In
a lot of ways, but that's huge.
Yeah, it felt really good, and using them more throughout the magazine like made it so that I could do different things too, like redesign the website and, you know, sometimes be on a podcast and teach.
Yeah. So like, and you kind of stayed with Bitch for a long time.
Yeah. I was there for 8 years-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was teaching that ended up kind of pulling you away.
Yeah.
Because you are now like a full-time person at PNCA.
Yeah.
Like,
I that was a hard decision too. I was like, I have my dream job. Like, what do you do when your dream job is not your dream job anymore? Or when you feel like you need the next dream job? And I actually had to decide to leave before I had the next thing lined up. Which was really scary. But I felt like the work at Bitch was so important and so kind of all-consuming that I needed to like take a break.
Yeah.
And I had taken a break from teaching to focus on that like the semester before, and I really missed it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was able to go back and get some more classes and then do a little freelance work in that gap time and like actually go through the process of applying for a job, which in teaching is really hard.
It's so cumbersome.
Oh my gosh.
for how low the pay is, they really make you work for it.
Well, I have so much empathy for designers starting out too, because like you have to have a resume and a portfolio, and you have to be great at interviewing, and then sometimes you have to do some kind of test to get started with a job.
Yes.
There's like 6 parts.
It's the full day long interview that every professor has to go through.
Well, that is
truly
bananas.
Brutal.
Yeah, that is brutal. And you're giving a talk and you're
Yeah.
So it was like all those things, plus I had to like teach in front of people who were evaluating. You know.
Oh, I've not gone through a teaching evaluation.
It's actually fine.
Okay.
But it does
terrifying.
feel like a little terrifying.
Yeah.
I like went into my talk like I always go into the school year, like, don't say shit show, don't say shit show. And then it's like the 3rd word out of my mouth. But yeah, I remember giving like a lunchtime talk, and I thought that there weren't that many people there, and I was like ready to like start a feminist commune of teachers and like burn everything down. And here I am, like, you know, wanting to work in an established art school that's like 100 years old, and I'm like getting ready. I hear the music swelling in the background while I'm giving my talk, and I'm like, oh my God. This is like, maybe should I be saying this? But they hired me, so that was good.
I mean, it is still an art school, so you know.
It was probably for the best.
Yeah. That showing your real personality is probably a good thing.
Well, and
in that situation.
That's actually the thing I love so much about teaching is like I'm starting to feel like I get to know what it's like to have a practice that's my own.
Yeah.
Like, what is the work that I make that I want to make really look like? And who do I work with? And as opposed to just doing that as the side gig, I'm like, how do I integrate all those parts? That feels scary and wild and committed and also really refreshing. So
yeah, it's all the things, but it's then also a million other things that are not fun too. That feel like they're taking away from the good things. But you know, that's any job.
It is any job.
You
and
know.
I think if you can put up with, you know, it in one environment, or you can convince yourself the way that you convince other people that it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I try to do that to myself. But it, you know, hopefully you're making things. I always think at a job, like, hopefully I'm making things better for the next person that's doing it.
Yeah.
Too.
I think there's a lot of kind of parts. I actually kind of want to circle back on. So like you left Bitch before you kind of knew for sure that like this was going to be the next thing. Like what other, had you like entertained other ideas about what other options you had? Like...
I did. I started by connecting with everyone I knew and just seeing who they thought I should meet.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Do
and
those informational meetings.
Yeah, I think like that's something I try to tell my students, like, don't go into a conversation thinking like this conversation's going to get me the job.
Yeah.
Like, I really was trying hard to take my own advice about that. I'm like, it was
that's the hardest thing to do.
Not always working, but just to sit down and reconnect with some people that I hadn't had as much time to talk to, and be honest and not throw anyone under the bus at like previous jobs, and just feel like, you know, I don't like, how do you say I don't want to do this thing anymore? Without like making it sound like it was terrible, you know.
If there's a way, I have not figured it out myself.
Yeah,
because it's a very delicate needle threading to do.
Right. So that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to some folks at agencies, and I think I kind of landed at a place where people kept asking me like, well, what is it that you do? Like, what is it that you specialize in? And I'm like, I have been an art director for like 15 years. That is what I want to do. But I think there's a lot of specializing. in this town, especially.
Yeah, and that I feel like is a thing that has gotten more and more pronounced in recent times.
I agree.
Yeah.
And maybe less over the past couple of years, like since folks have downsized and
true.
We're all working remotely. I think a lot of the communication skills that I have are skills that everybody needs just to work remotely and float around between clients. So I had kind of settled on maybe I was going to freelance for a bit instead of that. And my partner's also a designer, and he has like a collective of folks that he works with called Future Work Design that does a little bit of consulting, like strategic consulting and equity work.
Oh, nice.
And so I got to work on a few projects with him, and we've met through working together. So we've it was nice to get to, like, if he was too busy, I could help out. And you kind of do the same thing with friends. You know? Like you're having all these informational meetings with people, and then occasionally someone's like, you know what, I actually really need help next week. Could you help me with this? So I did a little bit of that to get me through. And then I spent a lot of time, like, the question, like, well, what is it that you do, or what is it that you want to do? I think I started to realize it's common when people don't know what to do with you. And maybe if you're like at the same level, like I'm talking to other creative directors about creative direction, and like, I don't know, it just made it, I started to realize that maybe I was not built for an agency, like to be in that one place anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a specific world, and it's kind of gross sometimes. I think maybe, I mean, I know that has never really felt like the fit to me, and it sounds like it wasn't to you.
It hasn't been, not long term.
Yeah, like there are ways that it functions that are really, like, you're getting into little fiefdoms and those little specializations and things like that. And you know, I think that can be good. That can open up some doors because those places go through a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then you can say like, oh, I've been at this agency, and you've also been at this agency.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to commiserate.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it also just, it's such a specific way of working that I don't know. It goes against how because I think we're both kind of like, we want to, and maybe it's like the nonprofit aspect or just like the kind of scrappiness, but you just want to do things and get things done, and that mindset feels so against that.
Totally.
You must be in your box.
You were at Pica, yeah.
I was at Pica.
Very similar, like, vibes. And like very similar.
I was the doorman and the
right.
account assistant at one point, and
yeah, and your voice quavers a little
bit. the number of things that I did there were popping into my head.
I mean, I can only imagine. I think like working at a startup is similar. Working in-house is often similar to that. And you have to know that those jobs have an expiration date for you, or else you're going to feel really like bad about it. And I mean, I've stayed at jobs for quite a while, but you do get to that point where you're like, oh my gosh, am I learning anything new?
Yeah.
Or am I like just getting full of hate? And like, it's like
I know exactly what you mean. You
have to break up before you hate each other.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like, I mean, one of the things my mom said about teaching college was like that it was new every year because it's not about her. It's like about the students.
Yeah.
And like every year, even if I do the same projects with the same intent, the work's going to be wildly different. The class is going to be wildly different. It's not just like getting a new client. It's like it's like you're running a new studio every year.
It is. And they find stuff that you would never, ever find because they're looking in super weird places that you'd never think to look.
Cool.
And that, I think back to when I was at Pica, and I think it was the worst period of my design career. And it's not because of them. It's because I was isolated and I was not experiencing new things. Yeah. And in this, I am always experiencing new things and things that I would never think to look at on my own. And I'm better as a designer than I was, although a lot of my design work is now in Descript and Adobe Audition. And those are very weird tools to be doing design in, but okay, sure. But like, I don't know. I mean, you look at problems differently doing this and being in a place where you are just constantly being refreshed just by force of like your environment and the people that you're working with. Like,
it's totally true. And what you said about being a better designer now, like, really sticks with me hard. I had a good friend and a great designer that I partnered with a lot say when I was interviewing for the job, are you sure you want to be done with like your design career? Like, are you sure you want it? And I was like, dude, it just smells like that. Those who can't do teach like bullshit that I'm sure we're all like, it actually just made me want to do it more. It's again that like, my past punk self is like, F you. Like, I don't know how much I can swear on this podcast, but it makes me want to swear all the swears.
Yeah.
And like looking at my colleagues who are really amazing teachers, the work that you do, the work that folks, many of my friends who teach here do, and the artists that aren't in design at PNCA who are amazing and have a whole life in that world.
Yeah.
In addition to teaching and integrated with teaching, like threaded together. Like, that's the gorgeous stuff. That's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm becoming like such a better designer, and maybe even someday I'll feel like I'm an artist, but probably not. So I think I'm pretty happy about being a designer, but it's such a load of shit. That idea. And it's mean. It's like,
fuck that person.
I know.
That's
I think
a real shitty.
I think they like kind of they were looking out for me and feeling bad about what they had been doing, and what do you do?
Like,
but it seems
we were talking about gatekeeping vibes at the beginning, and that's some real gatekeeping vibes of like the only way to. There's one way to practice in this field, and it's agency life.
Yeah.
No. That's what you chose.
And
sorry.
I think sometimes when we get stuck in a turret of, some sector of the industry, you get a little, you kind of drink the Kool-Aid a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe I'm feeling that way about teaching right now, but probably not. I think I'm still like antagonistic enough that I'm mad at it too. I love it, but I'm still mad at it.
You must be mad at it.
Yeah,
it will eat you otherwise.
That's true. Thank you. I need a poster that says that.
Yeah. You don't want to be an associate vice president of whatever.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind the salary.
Yeah, that would be great.
But yeah.
They get paid so much more than we do. And there's so many of them. And no one's quite clear what any of them do.
Yeah.
I'm the associate vice president of pencils. I make the pencil order every single day. And I have a second house in the Bahamas.
I also make a pencil order often, but I don't have that house in the Bahamas, though.
What's your pencil order?
I like pencils that say stuff.
Those are great.
Yeah.
We got to get some more pencils that say stuff around here.
I like those.
We got a couple of years ago, we got some PSU graphic design pencils. And I don't think we quite knew how bad that they would be. They're truly the lowest quality pencils that I think you can buy.
There are some really bad ones.
Yeah, the lead is I assume it was made broken because it does not hold together at all.
Or you get that kind that's like squeaky and it like doesn't.
It's that as well. It's very squeaky. The eraser does the great opposite erasing where it makes the paper dirtier if you try to use it. And the words PSU graphic design are in Arial, which is just a great type choice.
I think that's really
Would
funny.
buy again.
Oh my gosh. We got some when I was at Bitch that they were like gold stamped. Those are with the hexagonal pencil. Those are the good ones.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
My mom used to get those for her students. She was an elementary school teacher, and At that time, you could order like one-offs of those,
oh
which is impossible to imagine now.
Yeah.
And they were like 30 cents a piece.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you have to order like 9,000 of them.
Yeah.
I'm barely exaggerating.
The minimums on pencils now are really, really absurd.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming to Pencil Chat.
Right.
It's been a joy to have you here, Kristin. If people want to learn more about you, where do they go to do it?
You can see my work at krb.com. Or you can check out the work we do at PNCA. If you Google PNCA graphic design, you can find our department. I do some little interviews with students and faculty and people we have art crushes on that site.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you also co-run the lecture series over there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I really hope, consider this an open invitation to anyone, designer, student, community member who's just interested in it. Those lectures are free and open to the public, and they meet about once a month once the year starts up.
Very convenient. And it's going to get cold here. I know it's hard to imagine that today, a day that is going to be 175 outside.
It's not okay.
But it will be cold again in winter, and you're going to want to do something to do. So why not go?
You want that design warmth, and we're here to provide it.
Go hang out and enjoy some wonderful design talks.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Now I have to scroll down and find. There's so much Stephen money that I have to scroll down.
Don't get lost. He'll eat you alive.
He's so muscular. I'm.
It's so confusing.
He's rectangular in so many ways. Well, thank you to everybody out there who's listening to this. If you like this show, whether you're hearing it for the first time or not, give it a subscription, by which I mean hit the subscribe button or the follow button, which I guess is what Apple Podcast calls it now, in your podcast player of choice. That way you can hear every new episode that goes up, and also old ones when I do that too. If you want, you can also learn about this show by searching for the words on the internet. But if you want to make that easier, take the Google out of the equation. Just go to dididothat.design. It's a wonderful website that I built. And there you can find some good images that go along with each and every episode, including this one. You can also get those images delivered directly to you on Instagram, or give us a follow on YouTube or LinkedIn, should you want to embarrass yourself publicly by showing support for us on LinkedIn. Go make LinkedIn weird again. That's our 2023 call to action. I'm Sean Schumacher. This is Did I Do That? And as we always say at the end of every episode,
did I do that? Oh man, I missed my opportunity to do an impression.
That's what I say. Okay, bye. Oh, mute phones as well. That's a good
call.
For me.
I think it's muted.
I think it's muted on my end too.
I feel like no one's going to be calling me this morning. Everyone I know either doesn't know how to use the phone or they know where I am. Meaning my dog.
Yeah, I mean, when dogs can figure out how to use the phone, then they're really going to be in charge.
You get 1,000 texts a day.
Oh,
God. Where are you? Where are you?
Need food.
Yeah.
Hungry.
Yeah. I think there's a Twitter account for that.
I would record fake commercials for my imaginary cat food brand.
Oh my God. I did fake commercials too.
What were your fake commercials for?
Well, my fake commercials were mostly for real products.
Oh,
but
really?
I would make my little sister, who is 3.5 years younger than me, participate. And she never wanted to. I remember making one that was on video for Juicy Juice. And I wanted her to say, wouldn't it be nice to drink a bowl of fruit? Because her voice was really cute. She was like, 3 or something like that. And I should have known I would be an art director, I guess, at that point. When I was getting mad at her for not singing the way I wanted her to.
Either that or, just a real intense director was what you were going to be.
Maybe a dictator. Yeah. I don't know. Strangely, I've gone for something with much less power. A teacher.
I mean, we didn't realize that at the time.